iterations. I haven't heard if they're going to have a second season or not, but their playoffs are happening.
Well, that'll all be contingent on one thing, won't it? The betting
TV.
line. Betting. Won't it be about betting?
I would say you're right.
Hopefully someone's not betting too much on the USFL. I mean, I probably like you all. I mean, I did watch sporadically, like a quarter here or two, like all throughout its existence, but it's just the quarterback play is just so
rough,
so mediocre and rough that it's and look, it's not completely on them because also they don't have great receivers, they don't have good offensive linemen, so it's not completely them, but just like all these games are like 14-19 or 12-7, and just like, good God. And that's the thing, is kind of like what Luggs is getting at. We've been conditioned by NFL. Not only obviously is the athletes better, but in terms of how they've done the rules, they've changed so many of the rules to be advantageous for the offenses. So the scores are so much higher. So it's just hard to kind of go back to watching, like I said, like a 7-10 game. It just is.
I think mostly it was the Kurt Menefee Invitational where he just improved his resume reel on announcing and wants a better job because he was on quite a bit. He did all right.
I like him. He always does the Seahawks preseason games. I thought he's done well with those. And to be fair to you all too, like besides if it wasn't the Birmingham Stallions playing, they had no one in the crowd.
Right.
Like the only way to quote unquote look at the atmosphere is you'd have to watch a Birmingham Stallion because they had people there. It's weird they were conditioned to root on Birmingham. I know they're in Birmingham, but it's like, is this really your team? Because you have all these other teams that are technically or supposedly from other cities, but they all play their home games here. So I
think they need to fix that because you need some hometown pride, like where I could actually go to a game.
Yeah.
Without a road trip to Birmingham. I mean, it's lovely this time of year, all that heat and humidity. It's just great.
Oh, yeah.
But it is minor league football, right? I think there's no kidding about that, and I don't think it was ever projected to be anything but that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully on some level, and this is why you wish the NFL would be involved, is they could use it as a feeder system. I mean, they're going to use it, I guess, to a degree in that way, but it feel better if they had it insulated in that way where you could develop talent better for schemes of the NFL. Or coaches, just get head coaching experience for people at a lower level, and then they can come up. But that would be like we said earlier, like the NFL just had $110 billion deals and whatnot, but they can't spend any money on a farm system. But whatever, that's another thing.
And I miss the days of he hate me and some of those characters in the
You're talking about the XFL, which is coming back next year.
Yeah, we get McMahon involved. He'll fancy it up.
Well, he's got a few
got other problems
right now.
Yeah, but let's not talk about it.
NDA.
Yeah, let's not mess with him.
We got our own NDA.
But I think you put your finger on it. Whatever we think of NFL quarterbacks, the guys who start are literally in a league of their own. It takes a certain level of physical and mental talent to be good at professional football. And the guys you're looking at USFL, they're good, but they at best ever would be third on the quarterback list in the NFL, I think, even if that.
Good point.
This would pain Luggs to say, but if Kirk Cousins would, go down to USFL level, he would be the Tom Brady of the USFL.
And play for 22 seasons. You're right, because look at some of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, Tebow and some others who've won Heisman trophies and got on to mediocre or worse careers than that. You're right. It's a special talent. Hey, Luggs, do you want to talk about a little sports of yesteryear? You got that in you tonight?
Sure.
Here we go. It's our big open for sports of yesteryear. We set the way back machine way back. And here's Luggs with more on sports of yesteryear. Come on in here, Luggs.
All right. 1916, Boston Red Sox pitcher Rube Foster no-hits the New York Yankees 2-0 at Fenway Park. 1932, German champion Max Schmeling loses heavyweight boxing titles in a controversial split points decision to American Jack Sharkey. 1939, New York Yankees announced Lou Gehrig's retirement after doctors reveal he has amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. 1950, Joe DiMaggio gets his 2000th hit. 1964, Phillies pitcher and native Kentuckian Jim Bunning hurls a perfect game as Philadelphia beats the New York Mets on Father's Day. 1994 at Wimbledon, German tennis superstar Steffi Graf becomes the first defending champion to lose in the first round of the next major tournament. 2012 NBA Finals, Miami Heat win their second NBA title. They beat Oklahoma City Thunder 121-106 in Game 5. MVP is LeBron James. That, my friends, is sports of yesteryear for this segment.
Thank you, Lugs, very much. Okay, so Lou Gehrig, remember, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth, I think was the famous speech at a sold-out Yankee Stadium. It was really sad, wasn't it, back in the day? That movie, Lou Gehrig's Story with Gary Cooper, that should have been on a list of all-time sports films. I know it's a winner with both of you. Wow.
Probably
Lead Balloon, I think that was.
I think it's maybe too wholesome for Lugs and I. We're kind of vagrants.
You need Dennis Hopper as shooter in there.
We need like
Coach.
we need someone with a drinking problem, a gambling problem. They went to jail for
The
a while.
Longest Yard.
Those are the types of movies Lugs and I like.
Woo, all right. Yeah, that's probably about right. Okay, so we got a couple other things yet. 37 minutes past the hour and a balmy 72 degrees at nighttime here in the old radio station. Hey, T-Dog, you want to talk about some big-time college football signings we don't know much about, but now we're going to find out.
I just want to say this will be a very quick one, and you all can have your input on it very quickly. I just want to say big win like the last few weeks for Coach Scott Satterfield for U of L. For the 2023 class, ESPN's ranked number 2 running back Reuben Owens is coming to the Cards, along with the number 2 overall wide receiver prospect, DeAndre Moore Jr. So you just look at some of the people he's getting in, and I like Scott Satterfield. I know he like a lot of coaches in U of L's history, which I understand why Satterfield has upset Cards fans, because he looked at other teams and possibly leaving U of L. I don't think he would deny that, but you look at he had a lot of success his first year, but if you look at that he had that much success with that team that first year was pretty amazing. And then the COVID year, you can't blame it on him. The COVID year, there was a lot of good teams that just crapped the bed, I guess, to put it as nicely as possible. And then they, with a relatively mediocre talent on their roster last year, they went 6-6 and lost in the First Responders Bowl to Air Force Academy. But I like him. I think he has a good system. You go back to Appalachia State. So I just like that he's getting talent, and I hope they do well.
Lugs, you had you're a big Satterfield, I think you call him Scatterfield fan. How do you feel about his future at the University of Louisville?
Well, I think my favorite is the fact that the man cuts his own hair. That kind of sums it up for me. He's a DIY, cut his own hair kind of a guy. So, congratulations to the Cards on those two. But I got to put a little in this thing. Both those guys have opted out of other teams that they had committed to. So, money talks now. So we're a long way for them dressing in the cardinal red or the cardinal black.
That's true, but also I'm kind of fascinated to see what possible NILs they have. Like when we see billboards of them, like what would you all say local product would they be rocking for them to sign here?
You know that place where you throw axes overhead and you hit the wall? I think that would be really, really good. axe throwing place. I can't think of the name of it. Let's go with that. How about you, Lugs? Off top of mind.
I would just say Fisher's Meat. You know, the fellas get all the pot roast they want or whatever, that kind of a thing.
Bologna.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you'd hope that'd be for offensive defensive linemen, but
Yeah,
I don't know. There's enough bourbon distilleries. It feels like
just a few.
they're probably in the mix for maybe some of the NIL these guys are getting. Obviously Papa John or whatever it's called now. No, it's not Papa John's. It's not possessive anymore.
No, they dropped
it's Papa John.
that was a big creative move. They dropped the apostrophe. Good job, guys.
Yeah, it's only $10 million to come up with that deal.
We have an idea. We have a think tank idea. We're going to drop the apostrophe in. We've got a bourbon distillery right in the back of the podcast studio here. It's going strong. Yeah.
You got a pot boiler going? All right, baby.
Yeah. I learned it from Hawkeye Pierce.
Cool.
All right. Well, is that about it today?
That's all I got.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, this has been Sports and Other Stuff, brought to you in part by Burt Wyman Motors, your TV car man. We know, say no, home of the buy here, pay here. Buy a car and get a check from Burt Wyman and our guys working there tonight.
Fish. This week, our man in the know is celebrating the Finnish sports tradition known as wife carrying by hosting the U.S. version to raise money for hernia research. If you're not familiar with this sport, a man must carry his wife through an obstacle course of 1 dry and 2 water obstacles as fast as he can. The wife must weigh at least 108 pounds. Keeping with the Finnish rules, the winner gets his wife's weight in beer. So come on down, 1 p.m. this Saturday. Bring your trust.
All right, this has been Sports and Other Stuff. You know, it's so hot outside, the cows are producing evaporated milk. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. That's a bad one. That was rough.